This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we are live.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to call this meeting to order.
Chair Sloat,
Present.
Vice Chair Cody,
Present.
Member Bingham.
Here.
Member Joa.
Here.
Member Hinton.
Here. Pledge allegiance to the flag, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chair Sloat, before we go on to approval of the minutes, I'd like to make a motion that we move future meetings to a start time of 9 a.m.
Okay, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
I couldn't really hear what you said.
Oh, I'm sorry, Betty. I made a motion that we move future meetings to a start time of 9 a.m.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our last meeting, which was held in December.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I call your attention to agenda item number 4. Number 5. Excuse me, that is request for a variance for 33 Hershey Drive.
An application submitted by Kelly and Andrew DiMaria as owners for a parcel property located at 33 Hersey Drive, Ocean Ridge, Florida, 33435, requesting a variance from the previous provisions of the Land Development Code, Chapter 67, Building and Building Regulations, Article 2, Coastal Construction, Section 67-18, Coastal Construction Setback Line to permit the installation of a new dune crossover east of the 1979 Coastal Construction Control Line. The property is located at 33 Hersey Drive. Property control number is 464345 3404 000 0210 and legally described as Shoreview Lot A. Exact legal description can be located at Town Hall. All fees have been paid and I did not receive any additional correspondence.
At this time, any ex parte communication should either be disclosed by identifying the subject of the communication and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place, or any correspondence provided to the town clerk and made part of the public record. In addition, each board member may identify the existence of any investigation or site visits he or she has conducted, or any expert opinions received, and disclose any conflicts of interest on this matter.
The applicant is my neighbor, but we've had no discussion.
I did visit the property and I took some photographs in case anybody was interested of some of the entrances near the property and beach entrances near the property. There's a public access to the north public access to the south. There's a Sailfish access and a Hershey Street access. And then there are some private accesses. And if you'd like to see the photos, our town clerk has copies. If not, we can just proceed.
I drove over the entire area looking at what kind of platforms were on the dunes. And I looked at this entire area and what they requested. And yes, I had done some due diligence.
We'll then proceed with the hearing on this matter. Will the town clerk please
Vice Chair.
swear in the witness?
Cody and Member Hendon, can you just say into the record that you did not have any ex parte communications?
I did not have any ex parte communications.
All right.
Anybody in the, okay. Will anyone wishing to speak on this item, please stand and raise your right hand?
Anybody in the audience?
The applicant stands since you're going to be speaking on this item.
Oh.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? When you come forward, please state your name and address clearly for the record and whether or not you have been sworn in. And please speak directly into the microphone.
Hi, my name's Kelly DiMaria and my address is 33 Hersey Drive. Is anything else?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Andrew Maria, and my address is 3250 Drive.
The town clerk and I will read over the justification A to G as required by the town code and also listed on page 2 of the application. That a special conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, and buildings involved, and which are not applicable to other land, structures, or buildings in the same zoning district.
The applicant responded, we purchased a property at 33 Hersey on June 5th, 2020, expecting to build a dune walkover. We would not have purchased this property if we were not able to use the beach property to build a dune walkover. The beachfront ownership with the ability to build a dune walkover was a large portion of the value of the home. Ordinance 2020-05 was passed on September 8th, 2020, and now a variance application is required for any work east of the CCCL line.
That special conditions and circumstances do not result from actions of the applicant.
The applicant responded, we did not act in any way to not allow ourselves the ability to build a dune walkover on our beach property. Dune walkovers were permitted to build on beachfront property when we purchased our home in June 5th, 2020. Ordinance 2020-05 was passed September 8th, 2020, and now a variance application is required for any work of the CCCL line.
That the granting of the variance requested will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied by the zoning ordinance to other lands, buildings, structures in the same zoning area. I read that. Sorry.
The applicant responded, many similar beach properties have dune walkovers. Dune walkovers were permitted to be built on beachfront property when we purchased our home on June 5th, 2020. Ordinance 2020-05 was passed on September 8th, 2020, and now variance applications required for any work east of the CCCL line.
That the literal interpretation of the provisions of the ordinance would deprive the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same zoning district under the terms of the ordinance and would work unnecessarily and undue hardship on the applicant.
The applicant responded, many similar beach properties have dune walkovers. We purchased the property at 33 Hersey Drive on June 5th, 2020, expecting to build a dune walkover. We would not have purchased this property. We were not able to use the beach property to build a dune walkover. The beachfront ownership with the ability to build the dune walkover was a large portion of the value of the home. Ordinance 2020-05 was passed September 8th, 2020, and now variance applications required for any work east of the CCCL line.
That the variance granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, and structure.
The applicant responded, yes, the variance is granted is the minimum variance that will make possible the reasonable use of the land, building, or structure. We need the variance in order to build the dune walkover. Dune walkovers were permitted to be built on beachfront properties when we purchased our home on June 5th, 2020. Ordinance 2020-05 was passed on September 8th, 2020, and now a variance application is required for any work east of the CCL line. We purchased the property at 33 Hersey on June 5th, 2020, expecting to build a dune walkover.
That the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of the ordinance.
The applicant responded, yes, the granting of the variance would be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of the ordinance. We have submitted a unity of title form. We will contract and use the dune walkover with the intent and purpose of the ordinance. We are asking to build a dune walkover as that was allowed at the time we purchased our home. Ordinance 2020-05 was passed on September 8th, 2020, and now variance applications required for any work east of the CCL.
That such variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare.
The applicant responded, the variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. Many similar beach properties have dune walkovers. Dune walkovers were permitted to be built on beachfront properties when we purchased our home on June 5th, 2020. Ordinance 2020-05 was passed on September 8th, 2020, and now variance applications required for any work east of the CCL line.
The town staff will now make its presentation on the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, board members, Corey O'Gorman, town planner. This is, as it's been described, a request for a variance from section 6718, the coastal construction setback line, build a dune crossover. The application has included analysis regarding compliance with criteria for granting variance. And this is as a result of recently passed ordinance by the town. I'm happy to try to answer any questions you may have. The background is included in the application and the staff report.
The applicant will now make.
Is this the minimum that they could do, and what is it, how much damage will it do to the vegetation on the dune for holding the sand in case of hurricane?
I would answer the question regarding the minimum. I would say yes, it is. That it's typically the minimum use that is allowable on a property of this nature to provide a dune crossover. I'm not sure I can answer your question regarding any damage to the dune vegetation. That would be subject to review, and I believe they have a permit included in the package from the state of Florida for a structure of this nature.
But does that not require them to restore the vegetation that they disturbed in building crossover?
Not to my knowledge. I'm not that familiar with the mitigation requirements for dune vegetation, but my understanding is that's regulated by the state, and any mitigation requirements would be imposed by the state.
And we also have our town code as well that regulates, what they could do. They cannot, per section 66-136, I believe, you cannot destroy, remove, trim, or do anything to the dunes without first obtaining a permit from the town.
Right, so once they give their application to the town, they need not only town approval, but DEP approval, and they have to meet all of the town and state
And they have
codes.
to replace the vegetation that they disturb.
Well, it depends on what the codes are that they have to meet, but yes, they will have to meet all of the codes, state statutes and codes.
Tracy, so you're saying the process is to receive the variance first,
Yes,
but they must meet EPA standards prior to permitting being allowed?
correct. So when so they had to get a unity of title through the town commission first. Second step is to come to you for a variance. If the variance is approved, then they fill out their application for a building permit for the actual crossover with the town.
And the building permit, then they have to do DEP, and also they have to meet all town codes to get approval in the building permit stage. And I have also provided you the copy of the unity of title that was approved at the last town commission meeting. I placed a copy in each one of your desks in the deck.
Because to Betty's point, a crossover to me meant a walkway and access from their property west of the road to the ocean. But they've also included a 12 by 12 structure with storage, which may have impact, but this will be addressed by the EPA.
This is going to be addressed by the DEP and the town, both.
And they do have a DEP approval in their package as well. And per ordinance 2020-06, it is allowed a 12 by 12, of course, if they get the variance. That's one of the sizes that is allowed for them to be able to install.
Per town code, yeah.
Then further, I see this platform is actually 16 because the path is 4 feet. The platform comes off of the path. Therefore, it is 16 feet, not 12 feet. And I think additional damage is done to the dune by the step down on the side, which is another at least 3 feet on that side of the platform. In other words, I think it's a little oversized. You see what I'm talking about?
Any other questions?
I had a question regarding the legislative intent in passing ordinance 2020-05. Can anyone give me some background as to why the commission enacted that?
I'm not familiar with the background myself, I don't think.
Yes, so the commission had talked about unity of titles and then also building on the dune. They're looking at different things with the CCCL line, the FEMA regulations. They're taking everything all together and trying to protect the dunes. So it really was about dune preservation mostly. And that's the direction that they went in.
Thank you.
But it also had to do with unity of title for properties along the ocean as well.
Did they consider for the hurricane damage done unless vegetation is all along the dune? We haven't had a real hurricane since about 2002.
Right.
But
Yes, and they're continually working on that as well. We have a subcommittee right now working on dune vegetation and trees in general throughout the town.
So I think it's also important to note that when they were working on ordinance 2020, was it 06 that set the size of the decks? So I went up and down Old Ocean. There were only 6 properties that did not have a deck or a patio. And so I think that's relevant to the application. That other people, all the other property owners have a deck or a patio. There are only like 6.
My question wasn't about the deck or the patio, which I think they had every right to have. It was the size and the extent of damage that it might do to the building.
Okay,
In other words, basically with the path and the deck, it's 16 feet, not 12.
okay.
I think 12 is the,
So that would be flushed out during the permitting process.
Correct. It has to meet all town codes, yes.
And the state's already given, correct?
Correct.
I mean, this is the final state permit. Okay.
Any other questions? The applicant? Could you step forward?
Hi, Kelly DeMaria, 33 Hersey. So just like you had asked, we did go to the state and they do require 12 by 12 for the deck. So that's all included in there. And if any other questions, we'd be happy to answer. Great, thank you.
Okay. What's next? At this time, any other member of the public who wishes to submit relevant information to the board may come forward and speak for a maximum of 3 minutes each. Please indicate whether you are for or against the project or neither for or against the project. If any member of the public wish to step forward and make a comment or ask a question. None heard. The staff will now make its final comments if necessary.
We have no additional comments, sir.
The applicant will make it. Do any members of the board have any questions for the staff, the applicant? Okay, I now declare this quasi judicial hearing closed. We will now proceed with comments and deliberation from the board. Any comment? I will entertain a motion for item number 4.
I move that this board grant a variance from section 6718 of the coastal construction setback line to allow the applicants to build a dune crossover.
I second.
We will now take the final vote. Town Clerk Armstrong, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Cody, how do you vote?
Aye.
Member Joa, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair Sloat, how do you vote?
Aye.
Member Bingham, how do you vote?
Aye.
Member Hendon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And the rest of my instructions are blank, so I now declare this meeting over.
See you.